Welcome back to Golf WRX's Winning What's in the Bag, where this week we are taking a look at Maverick McNealy's bag from the 2024 RSM Classic. So that just went down. That tournament had tons of storylines, tons of drama, people trying to keep their card for next year, just a bunch of stuff going on. Maverick McNealy comes through with the win, birdies the last hole to put his first PGA Tour victory on his resume. Congratulations to him. Very, very cool that he finally got that. So we'll start at the top as we always do. Maverick's actually a free agent. I know this bag is going to kind of seem like he's with TaylorMade, but he's actually a free agent out there. Previously, he's had done a lot of work with Callaway, but now he's a free agent. But he's playing a lot of TaylorMade stuff. So we'll start at the top, and with driver, he is playing the TaylorMade Qi10 driver. Now, this is a dot head, much like Rory and Scotty Scheffler play. So this is the one that has a little dot. His is a 10.5 degree lofted head, and near the 5 and 10.5 on the upper right, you'll see a little dot designating as a dot head. It actually spins a little bit less than the retail heads that you and I buy. So if you and I go buy a Qi10, it spins a little bit more than these dot heads. They actually sit in between the standard Qi10 and the Qi10 LS. So some of these players don't need the ultra low spin of the LS, but they need a little less spin than compared to what the Qi10 offers. So TaylorMade has this Qi10 dot head out there that a lot of players on tour play. His looks to have his hosel setting in the upright setting. So that's going to be 4 degrees upright, standard loft, standard lie. Lie should be right around 60 degrees. Now, the Tour Issue heads, they do measure them for loft, lie, everything. So his may be slightly different than that, but typically 60 degrees is about what that upright setting gets you on the hosel. It's shafted up with a graphite design Tour AD XC6TX. The TX usually stands for Tour Extra Stiff, and every company is a little different in how they handle TX shafts. Some make them full flex, full flex is stiffer. Other ones just maybe stiffen up a little bit of torque or something like that. So all kind of depends, but it'll play just a slightly different than the 6X that you may see floating around. Now, the Graphite Design Tour AD XC is kind of a low mid-launch shaft with low spin. It's got kind of a soft handle section and then a stiff mid-section, stiff tip section. Provides it a really smooth feel while controlling launch and spin. It comes in at the 6TX at 67.5 grams and 3.2 degrees of torque. So we move into fairway woods. In the fairway woods, he's playing something a little bit older. For his 3-wood, he's playing these TaylorMade Stealth 2. This is a couple generations old now, but it is the actual 3HL. So the high launch 3-wood is what he's got in the bag. This is the 16.5 degree head. A traditional 3-wood comes in about 15 degrees. It is the same size though. Sometimes as you go to move to high launch 5-wood, the heads get a little bit smaller. This is the same 185 cc's as a traditional 15 degree 3-wood. It's got the bonded hosel, no adjustments, anything like that. It is shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus Black 7X. So this is the low launch, low spin shaft. I feel like we talk about this one quite a bit as well when we go through these what's in the bags. It's 78 grams, 2.8 degrees of torque. Got a really stiff handle, really stiff tip section, and then the mid section is pretty stiff. So it's ultra stiff, stiff in the middle, but a very stiff shaft used to control launch, control spin, built for faster swingers or players who want to bring ball flight down just a little bit. His next fairway wood he moves in, it's another TaylorMade Stealth 2, and it is the 7-wood. So the 21 degree head comes in at 170 cc's, just a little bit smaller than the 3-wood. Again, bonded hosel, still has a carbon fiber top. A really popular model. I know there's still a bunch of these floating around out on tour that guys are still playing. The Stealth 2 really, really sat well with a lot of the professionals out there. And Maverick's a guy who doesn't really change. He changes, but he's got to have a really specific reason. He's got really kind of interesting club needs or wants out there. So the 21 degree head, it's shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus Red 8X. This is the 80 gram type range, but this is the mid-high launch, mid-spin shaft from Fujikura in the Ventus line. And these are the previous gen. Both of these are the 2018 version. So not the new 2024s with Velo Core Plus. These are the ones from the previous, but just the standard Velo Core in it. But the Red X8 or Red 8X, it's a mid-high launch, mid-spin, 86 grams, 3 degrees of torque. And it's got actually a really ultra stiff handle section, kind of a firm midsection, and then a stiff tip. So the midsection is a little bit softer there, and then the stiff tip helps get the ball up in the air while still having a lot of control. We move into his irons, and he actually is now playing a slightly different set of irons. He's playing the TaylorMade P7CB. I know he did his What's in the Bag a little bit earlier in the year. He was actually playing a combo of, I think, P7CB in just like the 4-iron, and then he had the Tiger Woods, the P7TW blades throughout the rest of the set. Now he's playing the full set, or at least 4 through 9 iron of the P7CB. This is the one-piece forged cavity back from TaylorMade that just came out this year. It's actually got a decent amount of perimeter weighting for a little added forgiveness. It's fully forged, so extremely soft, responsive feel. And they actually take the sole and mill out a little section where they can put in a tungsten plug, or they actually remove some weight from some of the long irons to kind of help with CG placement and get the flight correct. These are shafted up with True Temper Dynamic Gold Tour Issue X100s. Feel like we talk about this shaft every single week. It's such a classic shaft. A lot of these guys have been using it since they were probably juniors coming up through the ranks, and now it's just a comfort thing. They know how it performs. They know how it feels. And yeah, the Tour Issue X100. And the Tour Issue, of course, means that they weight sort these to within a half a gram of each other. So a set is never going to be more than basically a full gram lighter or heavier than it should be in that set, which is pretty unique. It's more of a low launch, low spin shaft, comes in at about 130 grams. So we move into his wedges, and his wedges are actually Titleist Vokey SM10s. Now the first wedge in the set is going to be the 46.10F. This is the famous pitching wedge, or pitching wedge replacement, 46 degrees, 10 degrees of bounce, F-grind sole. The F-grind sole kind of stands for full sole, so it's meant to be a little bit wider, have a little bit more bounce, good turf interaction, not dig on those full shots that this club is usually used for. It's shafted up with a True Temper Dynamic Gold Tour Issue X100 to match the iron set. And typically a lot of players will do that just because they want that feel between that pitching wedge. Even though the head's different, they want that feel between the pitching wedge and the irons to kind of flow very nicely and be the same. The next wedge in his bag is in SM10, but it's the 50.08 F-grind. So the 50 is going to be the gap wedge. 50 degrees. The 8-degree F-grind is the lower bounce version. They also make a 12-degree version. So depending on the player and their turf interaction needs, they make 2 different models. So this will be the lower bounce one. Sand wedge is going to be the SM10 5408 M grind. Now I feel like the M grind we've seen a little bit less of over the course of the year doing What's in the Bags. It used to be the grind in the sand wedge and even lob wedge for a lot of players. That's just all you saw. It's actually kind of written on Vokey's site as Vokey's favorite grind. It's extremely versatile. It's got a lot of trailing edge, toe, and heel relief for players who want to open the face, manipulate the club, and hit a bunch of different shots with. For a lob wedge, he's playing the Titleist Vokey WedgeWorks 58 L grinds. This is one of the new WedgeWorks releases, came out a little bit earlier in the year. And the L grind is basically a low bounce grind. It's basically built for versatility around the green. The bounce is pushed forward just a little bit, and it's got a thinner sole on it. It's a 58 degree, it's 4 degrees of bounce, and it's actually bent 1 degree weak. So it's playing 59 and 5 degrees of bounce. For his putter, he's actually playing an Odyssey Toulon Garage prototype. So this actually looks like kind of a Newport 2 / Answer 2 head shape. It's got a little bit more squared off, larger bumpers. It's an overall more squared off shape of a head. The standard Newport or Answer, whichever one you want to kind of affiliate with, is a little bit more rounded on the corners, a little softer. This one's a little more squared off version. Toulon milled this from 904L stainless steel. Interesting enough, 904L is extremely corrosion resistant, and it's the same stainless steel type that Rolex uses for their stainless steel watch cases and watch bands. It's kind of got a really shallow face milling, so it should be a little bit more on the firmer, slightly more crisp side, but that's also going to give Maverick a little bit more feedback as well on where he made contact on the face with the ball. It's got a single sight line on the flange, done in black. You can see the Toulon Garage logos, the kind of fist with the hammer and the little wings on the sole, and it even says, I believe it's got it on the face as well. And then you have an Odyssey Ionic grip as the grip of choice. These grips, they came out years ago. I think when Odyssey did the Pro-Type series, they first came out, and everybody loved them. And unfortunately, you cannot get them anymore unless you are basically a tour player. But an Ionic grip is kind of a different polymer, different material. It's made out of a different rubber. It's got a kind of unique feel. It's smooth, yet it's still tacky, but it's got the Odyssey logo on it. But a really kind of cult following type grip that people still love and would love to get their hands on again. For ball, he was actually playing with the brand new Titleist Pro V1. This is going to be the 2025 model. Now, we've seen it out on tour. We've seen the markings. When you look at it, it's at the filled-in black triangles on either side of the Pro V1. Not officially, we don't know official details yet from Titleist on this ball. We don't know necessarily what is different or new with it, but he was playing the 2025 model for this win. And then the grips on the rest of his clubs, aside from putter, are the Golf Pride MCC white and blacks. This is the grip that is kind of dual compound. The lower hand is done in white. It's a little softer rubber, where the upper hand is a firmer rubber that has kind of a cotton cord run through it for extra traction. So that is Maverick McNealy's What's in the Bag, or winning What's in the Bag from the 2024 RSM Classic. Congratulations to him again on a big win. And we will see you not next week, but it'll probably be a couple weeks when we get the next winner, What's in the Bag.